you spend much time at shooting ranges, you're going to find out that a lot of people wind up blaming their rifle or even a crossbow for not shooting properly, when in fact there is nothing wrong with the product. What's wrong is that the scope is not mounted properly. So what I'm going to do on this tip is I'm going to show you the method that I use in order to make sure that a scope is mounted properly, whether it's on a rifle or whether it's on a crossbow like this. Now, I typically use a gunsmithing screwdriver kit. I do not need that for this video, and the reason why is because this dart and crossbow came with a little Allen wrench in order to put the scope on. And so what I have done is I've gone ahead and I've mounted my bases onto the rail securely. Now, what that does, it forms a good solid foundation. Next, I wound up laid the scope inside the rings, and I put the top on the rings, and then I just barely started the screws that will hold the rings down, holding the scope in place. Now, before I tighten anything up, what I want to do is I want to come down here and I want to close my eyes and I want to feel what's comfortable for me. Where it's comfortable, I'm going to open up my eyes, and at that point I'm going to set my eye relief. I'm going to move the scope forward or back to where the eye relief is good. So many times at the range I see people struggling, trying to figure out where can they see best. The best way to do this is to put your head down, close your eyes, feel where it's comfortable, where it'd be when you shoot normally, open your eyes, and then move the scope forward and backward till you find exactly where that eye relief is. The next thing is make sure that your crosshairs are in the right position. Too many times I'll see people with their crosshairs kind of canted off to one side. You want to make sure they're straight up and down. Once doing that, the whole key here is watch the distance between the rings right here. All the way around, watch the distance and make sure it's even. And what I'll wind up doing, I will start and I'm going to go crosswise and torque this down. So we're going to start over here, and I pay attention to how many turns. I'm going to turn this half a turn here. I'm going to come over on this one, caddy corner, I'm going to turn it a half a turn here. Then I'm going to come back on this one, and I'm going to turn it a half a turn. And the same with this side over here. And what that's doing, it's putting pressure evenly on the scope tube, and the gap is going to stay consistent on the rings between the top ring and the bottom ring. I'm going to continue doing this until it's nice and snug. I want to make sure and torque it down diagonally, and I want to do them all the same pressure, and I want to turn them all the same amount. This is something that you don't want to rush. This is something that you want to take your time, you want to do it right, because when you do it right, you don't have to do it again. Once you get them all snug, just make sure to confirm that your eye relief is exactly where you want it and your crosshairs are straight up and down. And then the last thing I do is I really snug it down to make sure that it's all tight. And what you should find out is that the pressure put on each one of these screws should be even. And when you're done, the gaps between your rings should be even as well. That way the scope is sandwiched perfectly in between your rings. The bases are mounted firmly upon your rail. You've got a good foundation, the scope is mounted properly, and that will help you be a whole lot more accurate in your shooting, whether you're shooting a crossbow or you're shooting a rifle. I hope this tip has been helpful to you. List your questions and comments below. We'll get back with you. If you like the tip, share it with some friends. And hey, we've got a YouTube page with hundreds of tips on how you can get more joy out of the hunt. Make sure and subscribe.